Welcome back, everybody. How are you tonight? I don't have anything to open tonight. I want to do something a little different. I kind of want to talk about some of the cool cards in the new set. I want to go over my top 15 favorite common cards in Ikoria. So, I've been wanting to do this with some of the other sets, just haven't really gotten around to doing it. So, but now I definitely want to do it with this set because it's just coming out. Tomorrow is release day. Hopefully I'll have some boxes to open tomorrow night and throughout the weekend, and then probably for the next week or two I'm going to open a lot of Ikoria. So, but I wanted to kind of show some of the commons that I've opened that I really like, that I've been using a lot in Arena, and you guys can give me your opinions on them too if you think you like them as well or not. But let's get started. So number 15 is Heightened Reflexes. So this card, it's just a lot of bang for the buck. It's only one red, and you get their target creature gets +1 until end of turn. Plus, you put a first strike counter on it, and the first strike counter is permanent. So, I mean, one red for giving a creature first strike is not bad at all. And then have a +1 and be an instant, so you got a little combat trick. Definitely an awesome card. Just good value. Great for these fast mono red decks and stuff. I think this one's going to see quite a bit of play, especially in sealed. It's just good bang for the buck. So I like that one. But that's one of my, not as excited about that one. I'm going kind of a little bit in order, not in any specific order really, but a little bit in order of how excited I am about the cards. Next one up is Blood Curdle. This one's really, really handy, I think, because it's a little bit expensive. I wish it was just like black and two colorless, but it's a lot of bang for the buck again. Because it's an instant, you get to destroy target creature, and you get a menace counter on a creature you control. So, this can win games, because if your opponent's got two creatures over there, two big creatures, and you got a creature that you can do lethal with, but you can't get through those two big old creatures, you can take out one and then put that menace counter so the other one can't block your creature, and then swing in for the kill. So, again, a lot of bang for the buck. Great card. A little bit more expensive than I thought it should have been. I think it should be three mana, not 4. But, you do get that permanent menace counter, and it does destroy a creature, any creature, it's not like destroy target white creature or destroy target creature that's not black, or, something like that. It's any creature. So, a lot of bang for the buck. I like that card. I think it's going to see a lot of play, especially, like I said, in sealed and draft. And next up, number 13 is Lava Serpent. This guy, I almost put him quite a bit higher on the thing because I really love this card. I love cards that can do two things. This is a great early game cycling card and a great late game or even mid game. I mean, he's only 6 and only 1 red, so it's actually pretty easy to cast, kind of mid game. But a 5/5 with haste, I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Plus, it's got really cool, very weird, but really cool artwork on it. It's kind of like a gator without a head, but a lot more teeth. It's weird. And extra flippers. I don't know. This is going to fit really well in the cycling decks because you can cycle them, or, later game when you got the mana, you can just hard cast them and swing over for 5. I've drafted him quite a bit on Arena in the drafts, and he's really helpful. Doesn't seem like he's too fancy or much to him, but he's actually extremely helpful, at least in the draft decks that I built. He seems to be quite the beat stick, But I love the fact you can cycle early game, and with all the cycling cards that you get special abilities out of, that's actually really good bang for the buck again. So that was 13. Number 12, the Almighty Brushwag. This guy right here. 1-drop 1/1 with trample is pretty neat already, but then you can actually, he's got built-in giant growth. It's very expensive. It's green and 3 colorless, but you can do it as many times as you've got the mana to afford, which green ramp is pretty easy to get. So it's not too hard to get that going in green decks. So, he becomes a 4/4 with trample on the 3rd or 4th turn, or 2nd turn if you really ramp up. But, he's just really good value, and I think it's really cool that it's a cheap card. You get a cheap creature you can get out really quick, but you can throw spells on them, or you can pump them up to get that trample going and just really run over stuff. I've been run over with him quite a few times with my opponents playing this little guy. Plus, the artwork's hilarious. It's just this little tiny dude with all these brambles and all the other big old creatures are like, oh God, get away. Great art, great little card. And number 11 is the Fire Prophecy. This one, it's not a huge deal, but it is pretty good as far as, you know, it does a lot for just 2 mana. You get to do 3 damage, and you actually, you do get to kind of cycle a card, but you don't put it in your graveyard, you put it on the bottom of your library. So you get to actually, you know, put a card from your hand on the bottom of your library and draw a card. So for the mana cost, I think it's actually really powerful. You know, the arts, okay, little fire in the eyeball there, but instant, you know, 2 mana is not very expensive. It fits good in a red deck, and it helps you kind of cycle through and get the cards you need a little faster. So get rid of stuff in your hand that you're not going to use. So great card. I think they did a good job on that one. All right, now for the top 10. Number 10, Snare Tactician. If you're running a cycling deck, this guy just wreaks havoc on the board. I had a guy in a draft actually pull out 3 of these on the board at once and then started cycling cards, and I mean, he was tapping down everything. I had tons of creatures out, but he was just tapping them all down. I mean, every time he cycled a card, he was tapping down 3 creatures. It was just annoying. And he was cycling a couple of cards a turn. So no matter how wide I was going, he was just tapping it all down. He ended up winning the game just because of this guy, because he was tapping down my creatures. And he could attack me, but I couldn't attack him because of it. So he looks kind of innocent, but he actually can really do a lot of damage. 3 drop for 2/3 kind of meh, but that ability in a cycling deck is pretty pretty beastly. So that's why he's number 11 there. Or number 10, sorry. Number 9, another cycling card, the Drannith Stinger. This guy, yeah, he does a lot. He's a 2 drop 2/2, which is good, even balanced, you know, cost for power. But he's got cycling for 1, which really helps in a cycling deck. But you probably don't ever want to cycle this guy, because this is the beast of the cycling decks. Because you get him out on the 2nd turn, and whenever you cycle another card, he deals 1 damage to each opponent. So if you're playing multiplayer, that's literally pinging every single person at the table for 1. So pretty awesome card. The cycling decks really kind of revolve around this guy almost. He seems to be kind of the main win con in these cycling decks. He's just, yeah. 2 mana for a 2/2. It's great that he's not just a 1/1, so he's a little bit harder to get rid of. You know, he's still kind of easy to kill, but at least it's not a 1/1 that is just going to hit the board and then get wiped out immediately, because there are a million spells in the new set that kill every 1/1 on the board on your opponent's side there. So this Drannith Stinger, he's going to see a lot of play. Cycling decks, like I said, kind of revolve around him, so he'll see a lot out there. Next up is the Phase Dolphin. This guy doesn't seem like much, and I don't think anybody's really too excited about this guy, but I've drafted him a couple times, and he is a beast. He's a 3 drop 1/4, but whenever he attacks, target attacking creature can't be blocked this turn. So he makes one of your creatures unblockable every time he attacks, along with that creature. So I won quite a few games with this guy, and I was quite surprised. I didn't think I just kind of drafted it because I was like, oh, I might be able to get that last swing in there with him, you know. But because he's got the 4 toughness, I was actually able to swing in a lot with him and not have to worry about him, because even though the opponent would have like 3 3s over there and stuff, he's got the 4 toughness, so I was still able to swing and not have him die and make the other creature unblockable, so I could do a lot of damage to the opponent pretty quick, pretty easily. So the Phase Dolphin is another great uncommon that I think is not getting near enough of the respect it deserves. That guy is he's won me a lot of games. Doesn't seem like much, but unblockable creatures, man, that'll win. That'll help you win. All right, next up, the Divine Arrow. One of the best removal spells in the new set, I think, and it's in white, which is stunning. So So it's a 1 white, 1 colorless, instant, divine arrow, deals 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. That's huge. So if you attack and somebody decides to block with some beastie that's, gonna kill your guy, ping him for 4, he's gone. As soon as he declares blockers, yeah, that guy's he's an open target. And then if your opponent's attacking you, you can take out something that's 4 toughness. So this card is really great. I really enjoy this one. Whenever I'm playing white in a draft, I definitely get as many of these as I can. This is definitely my first choice for removal in white. So there's that one. And number 6. Number 6. The Boot Nipper. This guy's fun. 2-drop, 2/1. But you can choose when it comes to the battlefield to either put a Death Touch counter or a Lifelink counter on him. I love flexibility like this. I love the ability to be able to decide, do I want a real scary blocker that's going to take out any big old beastie they try and send over at me? Or am I getting low on life and I need a little bit of lifelink to help out? Or is it a life gain deck, Or is it, more of a Death Touch deck, more of a removal deck? So I like flexibility like this, and 2 for a 2/1 that you can choose Death Touch or lifelink. Pretty awesome. Obviously, if he was 2 for a 2/1 with Death Touch and lifelink, that'd be even better. Like those vampires from, what was it, Throne or War of the Spark, whatever, that are 1/1 drops with Death Touch and lifelink. That's pretty amazing. But this one, it for this set, I think it's definitely a pretty easy pick and draft if you're running black. You definitely want to grab a couple of these because the Death Touch, I always put Death Touch on them because I love the Death Touch because I like to be able to, scare my opponents into not attacking or be able to go over for 2 points of damage pretty much every turn because they're not going to block him and lose their big old creature. So I like the Boot Nipper. So he was kind of my number 6 choice there. All right, getting in the top 5. Number 5, the Light of Hope. This one could have been number 1. This card is amazing. For 1 white, you get to choose 4 life, destroy target enchantment, or put a 1/1 counter on target creature. There's really no bad way to use this card. I mean, unless your opponent has no enchantments at all, that's the only one that's kind of useless on there. But the other 2, I mean, I'm not going to cry if I have to give myself 4 life, or if I have to put a 1/1 counter on a target creature because they don't have an enchantment to kill. It's probably the cheapest disenchant, I think, since like Legends, maybe? I think Divine Offering, So, great card, great abilities, very flexible, and it's all instant speed. It's not a sorcery, so you can use it as a combat trick. You can get rid of an enchantment right at the perfect opportune moment, or you can gain life right at the perfect opportune moment. Like when you got 1 life and they send over a 2/2 and they're like, "Hi, I got you, good game," and you're like, "Pink, nope, I still got 3 life." So I think that's right. My math's kind of weak at 2 a.m., which is, 1:30 a.m. I guess it's not that late. All right, so moving on. Number 4, the Serrated Scorpion. I love this guy. He's only 1 drop for 1/2, which is great to begin with, but when he dies, he's got a 2 damage drain life. He deals 2 damage to each opponent, and you gain 2 life. So if you're playing multiplayer, it's 2 damage to every single opponent, and you gain the 2 life. So this guy is a beast. I love him. He stops a lot of shenanigans because you can drop him on the first turn and your opponent's like, drops a hasty creature and goes to swing. It's like, yeah, I don't want to kill that thing because it's going to do more damage to me than it does to him. So this guy's pretty awesome. Great little blocker. All right, so let's get down to the wire here. We're down to the top 3. You probably noticed that I got more than 3 cards here. Number 3 is a 2-way tie. I love both of these cards. It just depends on which color you're playing. Ram Through and Go for Blood. Both very similar. Both basically removal cards. Go for Blood is awesome in the red decks because red is going to be doing a lot of cycling for the next couple sets. I think we're going to see red doing a lot of cycling stuff. Cycling is just so strong in red in this set. It's amazing. So this is a 2-drop. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. Just good old fight card. But it cycles for 1. Just 1. That's awesome. I love low casting cost cycling. If you've been watching my opening videos with Ikoria stuff already, you know I'm not real big on the triumphs because I think the cycling cost is ridiculously too high at 3. 1 or 2 is really the only kind of cycling cards I even care to stack. Yeah, if it costs more than 2 to cycle, it just ties up too much of my mana. I don't want to use that much mana to cycle. But anyway, this one's only 1 cycling, and it's a removal card. But if you can't remove a creature with it, you cycle it, get something you can. Get something you can use. So the Ram Through, I think, is probably the best green target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control card. There's a lot of these in green, and they're all pretty much 2. Some are 3. But this one, if the creature you control has trample, excess damage is dealt to that creature's controller instead. That's amazing. If your creature's got trample, because you know, there's a lot of times I'll have some big old 7/7 trampler out there, and they just got like a little death touch 2/2 or something causing me problems, or 3/3 or something, and I've got to use this big old 7 power to squish this little bug on the other side of the field, just so I don't have to worry about the death touch. But this thing will take that other 4 that you wasted and send it over to the controller. So I love Ram Through. I think that's such a great addition to this new set. So that's why it's kind of like a 2-way tie for 3 there. 3rd place. And then 2nd place, again, another 2-way tie. These 2 are both such great cards to help out the mutate ability. I love the mutate ability, and these 2, you know, just great little early drops, 1st turn or 2nd turn drops that you can mutate onto, and every time you mutate, you get a +1/+1 counter. This one, every time you mutate, you get a +1/+1 counter, and you gain 2 life. And you don't even have to mutate onto this one. It's literally any creature you control mutates, get a +1/+1 counter on it, and you gain 2 life. So these 2 are just amazing. I love the fact that this is a 0/2, not a 0/1, because that would have really, you know, made it way too easy to get rid of before you can actually utilize it. But 1st turn, and there's a lot of really good mutates that are 3 drops. So, you know, 1st or 2nd turn, you get this guy out there, and then mutate onto him on the 3rd turn, and boom, you got a big old creature. Yeah, these 2 are both just amazing for mutate. If I had to choose which one I like better, I don't know. It's a tough call. Essence Symbiote does more, but it's a 2nd turn, not a 1st turn. And he's got the same toughness. He does have the 2 power, so he can attack, and he does help every mutate creature out instead of just the one you're mutating onto. But yeah, that's a tough call. So I kind of made them kind of a tie. And then, of course, tied for number 1 is the 2 best mutate commons there is, and that's the Migratory Greathorn and the Vulpikeet. These 2 are both 3-drop mutates, which is awesome. Only 1 color required, which is awesome. And they're both just beasts, because, I mean, you're talking, you know, turn like 1, you get your Mysterious Egg out. Turn 2, you throw out your Essence Symbiote, right? And then turn 3, you mutate one of these 2 onto that Mysterious Egg. And I mean, there's not going to be a whole lot your opponent can do about that except remove the creature completely, because so if you got both of these on the board and you mutate one of these 2 onto the egg, you automatically get with the Vulpikeet, a flying 4/5, because you get the +1/+1 from each of these. Plus you gain 2 life. Plus 5/6, because you also get a +1/+1 counter from the Vulpikeet mutating. So I mean, that's ridiculous. Turn 3, 5, 6 flyer that gives you 2 life. That's insane. So, and then same thing with the Migratory Greathorn. That one you're going to get as well a 5/6 on the 3rd turn. Plus you get to search your library for a basic land card, put it in the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle your library. So this thing is massive mana ramp in green, as if it needed anymore. But great mana ramp and huge creature that you can get out on the 3rd turn. I probably wouldn't recommend hard casting these for any reason, but it's only 1 more to hard cast them. So even if you don't have a creature to mutate them onto, you can hard cast them, and they're still great creatures, and you can mutate later on onto them and get their abilities. But yeah, these 4 cards I think are just the mutate ability is just so good. I think they did a great job with it. You know, Companion may be a little bit overpowered, but I think Mutate was just I think it's pretty much just perfect. It's really super powerful, but it's not ridiculously overpowered like some of the companions. But they did a great job with the mutate, I think. I think it's one of the coolest mechanics they've come up with in a long time. It's a little bit overpowered because, like I said, turn 3, you got either like a 5/6 flyer or a 5/6 that's pulling lands out for you. So those are tied for 1. Those are my favorite 2 cards. The Bulk Key's probably my favorite because I love flyers. And green's already got plenty of mana ramp, so the Great Horn's not a huge deal, but I mean, depending on the deck you build it around, that Great Horn can come in really, really handy. But the Vulpix works in any deck. I mean, a big old flyer that you can get out on the 3rd turn or even 2nd turn if you got a little bit of ramp on the 1st turn. It's just insane. So those are probably my top 15 picks. Well, 15 plus 3, 18 picks. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, what your favorite picks are from this set. If you think I'm totally wrong about some of these, like, oh, that's a terrible card, that's never going to see play, whatever. Let me know in the comments. We'll discuss it. We'll talk about it. But these are kind of the 15 cards that really, in the common set, well, 18, that really stand out to me is just they did a really good job on them. And I think they're going to see a lot of play, especially in Standard while they're in Standard here. And I think some of these even might see some play after Standard, after they cycle out of Standard in a couple of years. Because, I mean, especially like the Light of Hope, I mean, that's a great sideboard card for any white deck, and main board for a lot of them. The Ram Through, I think, is going to be played for a long time because, like I said, of the dealing your damage from one creature to another type cards, I mean, that's the only one that lets you bring excess trample damage to the opponent. So it doesn't matter how small the creature is, you're getting all that damage across. So yeah, I think those 2 definitely are going to see a lot of play. I think the Vulpix probably going to be around for a long time, depending on if the mutate ability sticks around or not, which I think it will. I think mutate's pretty strong, so I think it's going to have a lasting effect unless they ban all the good ones, which is very, very possible. Divine Arrow, I think, is another one that's going to be around for a long time. So there's some really, really playable cards in this set. So I think they did a good job on the set overall for the most part. There's a couple things that are still up in the air, and we'll see how they handle them or not. If they totally screw it up or if they just kind of smooth it over a little. We'll see. But let me know what you guys think in the comments, and hopefully you'll check out some other videos while you're here. I really appreciate your time. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.